An auditorium hums like a summer courtyard. The camera glides over faces and lands on a silver-haired woman in a square graduation cap. The tassel dangles in front of her eyes. She touches it, then laughs, softly, to herself. This is Raisa. On stage, the host is calling the honor students. Down below, the students start chanting, Raisa, Raisa. Someone whistles, someone films, someone wipes away a tear. Raisa lifts her diploma high and stands there for a beat, not quite believing it. Sunlight cuts into the dust like bright threads and voiceover. Just 1 year ago, she was afraid to even open a laptop. 1 year ago, the word finals sounded like a verdict. Today, it's her victory. Smash cut. A tiny kitchen, a sticky lemon print tablecloth, a cat on a stool. Every cabinet door squeaks. Magnets on the wall, the sea, a tram, a tiny Eiffel Tower. The kettle screams like a fire alarm. Raisa rushes in, turns off the gas, scoops in the tea, and freezes. Her phone blinks. Video call. Grandma, did you really start college? On screen, her grandson, eyes wide. Behind him, a guitar and a drying rack full of socks. Of course, she winks, lifting a checkered notebook. History quiz tomorrow? Make it quick. I've got notes cooling down. That's content. You need a TikTok. Film yourself. She waves him off. I'll deal with Peter the Great. The camera catches her smile, careful but stubborn. She sits, aligns her pen, and shuts the door so the cat won't sneak in. A student ID lies on the table. Fresh photo, same smile, without the cap. Her fingers tremble a little, but her eyes flash with the same childish mischief that never dries up. Back to the hall. Applause, diploma, flashes. A fast montage in heartbeat rhythm. A funny backpack with a duck charm, a tram where she drills dates, a night lamp and the shadow of her glasses on the page, a fridge sticker. Exams aren't scary. Voiceover. This isn't a miracle story. It's a story of steps. Small, silly, crooked sometimes, but hers. The camera crawls up to her eyes. Fear there, and excitement, like before a first jump into water. She whispers to someone invisible, All right, let's go. The kitchen lamp makes a circle of light on the table. Outside, a bus passes. Its reflection slides along the wall like a moving line. Too late? She watches it, then returns to her notebook and writes the topic in bold. Why reforms matter to people. Funny at her age, she nods. Exactly, to people. A neighbor texts, Raya, where are you? We're watching a show. She replies, doing homework with a little owl. The cat meows, demanding attention. She scratches his ears. You'll go to class when you grow up. He blinks and gives up. One more moment, a freeze frame. Her fingers at the edge of the student card, like at the edge of a new road. Cut to black. Big white letters. A year earlier. Start here. Morning in an old apartment always starts the same. The kettle hisses, the radiator clicks like dominoes, the cat claims the window stool. Raisa hangs mugs on hooks, as if she's sorting thoughts onto shelves. On the wall, faded photos. A wedding at a community hall, her son in a red pioneer tie, her husband in a knitted sweater by a river. She touches his picture with a fingertip and whispers, How are you? I'm studying. The answer is only the curtains rustle and a bus outside. Her room is simple, but has new things. A backpack with a bright duck keychain, a laptop she still closes gently so it won't break, a stack of grid notebooks, a couple of markers, smiley stickers. On the fridge, her weekly schedule, and a sticky note. Don't forget the laptop charger. Another note. Sleep is study, too. She laughs when she reads it, but obeys. Voiceover, her own voice. I worked at a grocery. Shifts, coins, change, grumpy grandmas, and kind grandpas. I always knew where the ripest tomato was and who wanted thicker bread slices. I thought learning was for the young. I just needed to make it to retirement. And then the quiet moved in. My son left for long shifts up north. My husband got sick, and, you know, the room got too big, the talk too small. She swallows the pause like hot tea. The camera passes her shelves: yellowed books, vinyl records, an old history notebook marked neatly with a 5 in a circle. She takes the notebook and presses it to her chest, not tight, like it's alive. I wanted to teach, but life is like a bus. Miss one, another will come. I waited. It came. The courtyard breathes its normal life. 3 neighbors on a bench, 2 kids in a sandbox, a grumpy janitor with a shovel. Raisa waves to Zoya from the window. Going to class today? Don't catch cold. To class, I'll wear a scarf. She smiles. She says it like she's always said it. And she likes how it sounds. She opens the laptop and logs into the student portal. Her name is next to a schedule, a tiny photo, and the line, Group, IC 21. It's strange and nice to see her surname on a list again. I'm back among beginners, she thinks. It's the good kind of surprise, like first snow that falls at night. The morning is the same and still different. She sips tea that's already gone cold and writes the first page of a new section. Who am I? Then answers, Freshman, 68. I want to understand people and time. I want to be useful. She adds a period, then another, and sketches a small boat in the margin. Let it sail. A paper envelope with photos sits on the nightstand. She picks 2, smiles, slides them back. Memory stays close, quiet, a hand on her shoulder. The day stretches like a long thread. By 9, she's cleaned everything, poured sugar into a jar, counted the towels, wiped a door frame for no reason. The TV mutters news, but the words slip by like rain on glass. Raisa sits at the window and watches the yard. A small theater plays below. A boy crunches snow crust with his boot. A woman takes out trash in a bathrobe and slippers. A dog thoughtfully sniffs a post. Everyone has business. She does too. But hers are quiet, invisible, like dust. She opens her contacts, many names, few conversations. Zoya, Galia, son, clinic, hairdresser. She wants to call, then closes the list. Not because she doesn't want to, but because she doesn't know how to start. Weather, the cat, buckwheat prices. She sighs and puts the kettle on. The water boils too fast. It feels faster than before. I'm the one slower now, she smiles with one cheek. There are things people don't say out loud. That evenings feel scary. That sometimes she stops hearing her own steps and seems to fade into the apartment. That the photos on the wall keep quiet, and that silence rings in her ears. That when she passes the university, she wants to stop, but her legs carry her on, out of politeness to her age. That too late sounds louder than the doorbell. At the pharmacy, the young clerk, eyes on the register, says, Calcium, at your age, it's time. The phrase sticks like a price tag. Raisa smiles. Time, and drops the box into her bag. On the way home, time pulls at her shoulders. Time for what? To sit? To stay quiet? To file a dream away? She takes her old school notebook and writes, What's wrong with me? The pause is longer than the line. Then, I'm afraid of being needed by no one. Her hand shakes. She adds, I'm afraid of looking ridiculous. Every word feels expensive. She spends anyway. She flips the page and writes big. Why do I want to study? The list comes slowly. To understand, to remember, to talk, to help my grandson, to stop being afraid. At the end, a period, like a stone. At night, she wakes up to something. Maybe the radiator's crack, maybe a thought. She pours water and sits in the dim. The under cabinet bulb makes her face look like an old photo. She whispers, "I'm too old for this." Silence answers. Silence doesn't argue, it agrees. That's the worst, when silence answers for you. Yes. So, wind taps the window, a postcard lies on the sill. Happy Teacher's Day. From long ago, signed by a grateful shopper. That attentive Raya from the grocery. She smiles at the memory. That woman once said, "You're like a teacher. You explain everything." Raisa realizes she liked explaining. She liked when people left lighter, with something clear. And now, she misses that most of all. On Saturday, her grandson shows up unannounced. The bell tinkles. The cat dives under the bed. Surprise! He swings a cardboard box labeled in marker. School. In the kitchen, they unpack treasure. Lined notebooks, colorful sticky notes, pens, a duck sticker with glasses, and a thin album titled Dreams. "For you, freshman," he says, very seriously. She laughs. "You're a dreamer." But she puts the album in her bag. There's more. Her old school diary that used to sit on her son's closet shelf. The pages smell of dust and apples. In the margins, A's and a few strict notes. Talked during algebra. Grandson whistles. "You were a rebel." "I was brave," she corrects, and her eye wrinkles turn into little stars. On his phone, he shows an ad. University, programs for all ages, prep courses, lectures, clubs, library, real people. He taps the word all and raises his brows. "See? That's you." She snorts. "Do I look like all?" "You look like someone who never quits," he says, suddenly grown up. That evening, Raisa turns a card with the admissions office address over and over. On the back, he has written, "Grandma, try. You always wanted this. I'm with you." She tucks the card under a tram magnet so it won't get lost. At the window, the streetlight casts a warm circle on the snow. In it sits a cat, calmly washing, as if it has thoughts too. She smiles. The next day at a shop, she notices a woman her age picking a notebook with flamingos. "For your granddaughter?" Raisa asks. "For me," the woman says. "I'm taking design classes." That "for me" rings like a bell. It echoes clean and bright. Raisa walks home slowly, feeling something long forgotten thrumming inside. Not her heart, a motor. At home, she pulls out an old photo. She and her husband at a train station, a suitcase, laughter, his handwriting on the back. "We'll go to the sea, I promise." She studies the letters. Tears arrive quietly like snow. "You promised," she says. "I'll promise you something too. I'll try to live not someday, but now." She slips the photo into her diary and writes on the first page, "It's time." Underlines it twice. Late at night, she makes a plan. What scares me? Not knowing where to go. What do I do? Go and ask. What if they say no? Try again, another college or courses. What do I need? Passport, photo, courage, scarf. The list looks odd, but honest. She sleeps with it under her pillow, the way kids hide letters to Santa so he finds them faster. In the mailbox, she finds a thin local paper. On the last page, a tiny notice about evening lectures for all. She cuts it out and glues it in. Yes, I'm going. Forward. Day one feels like a new alphabet, familiar and foreign at once. The admissions door opens like an old wardrobe, paper and lavender in the air. Documents? The clerk smiles. Raisa hands over a folder neatly labeled Raisa, History and Culture. Inside, passport, photo, application, and a caramel candy for luck. "Please wait," the clerk says. Please wait stretches like a rubber band. The lecture halls are honeycombs. People, backpacks, laughter. She reads the plaques: philosophy, history, modern art department. She wanders into the wrong room: philosophy instead of history. Sits by the wall, trying to look like she belongs. The teacher talks about categories of being, and her own categories are simpler. Don't get lost, breathe, press record. She quietly taps the red button. Back home, her head is full of questions. She opens the laptop. The comedy begins. The portal asks for a login and password. She types Raisa in both lines. Error. Her grandson on video. Grandma, the password has to be strong. My life is strong. Will that do? At least letters and numbers. In the end, the password comes out like a little poem only the two of them understand. First, online lecture. The teacher shares their screen. The chat is already joking. She's afraid to type, but sends, "Good evening." Then her first notes. Her handwriting wobbles at first, then lines up. She invents color rules: blue, dates, green, names, yellow, ideas. In the margins, she draws tiny icons to cheer herself up: a boat for forward, a bulb for got it. Skeptical friend Galena calls at night. Are you out of your mind? Why? It's all kids. They'll laugh. Raisa listens, then answers calmly. Let them laugh. The main thing is, I don't stop. Galena doesn't like that, but sighs. Well, I'm here if you need me. That "I'm here" warms like a blanket. There's an antagonist, too. At the clinic, a doctor shakes his head. Study is stress. Watch your blood pressure. She nods, walks out, and writes in her notebook. Stress is not living. Study is living. She buys a home BP monitor and sugar-free candies. I'll measure and learn sweetness in small doses. Her first failures are funny because they're hers. She loses a notebook, then finds it in the fridge next to the cucumbers. She mixes up classrooms and sits near the window to breathe easier. She searches Peter reforms and accidentally opens a meme of a cat in a tricorn hat. She laughs till she cries. Well, cat, she says, we'll get through. By week's end, she has a ritual. Fridays, she buys a cabbage pie from the cafeteria, drinks a glass of compote, and writes 3 things that went right. Didn't arrive late? Asked a question. Met Lena and Artyom. The page smells like compote and ink. That's the scent of her new life. It will work. I believe it. The first weeks drag a long scarf of tiredness. It seems okay. Until a stair you trip over. Face first. Monday, she goes to the wrong room and lands in a colloquium where you answer at the board. Heart roaring like a train. Raisa, shall we begin? She stands. Her mouth opens. No words. Thin needle laughs from the back. The teacher, gently, it's fine, please sit. Her neck burns. At home, she unpacks. A soggy notebook falls out, a kind soul spilled tea. The ink bled, dates dissolved. Her work turned to puddles. She sits in the kitchen, hands folded like a little boat, and says nothing. Inside, everything drops, like a lift with no floor. The cat jumps onto her lap. It doesn't help. I'm a fool, she thinks. What for? A funny old woman with a "too late" label? Tuesday, the bus pulls away. She runs, waves. The door closes gently. Wind toys with her scarf like a sail. Tears sting. Why is it never in time? She whispers. Another bus comes. She goes anyway, like life. Thursday, quiz, 210, in red. She takes the paper, folds it carefully, tucks it into her bag. In the hall, Lena catches up. Raisa, don't worry, we'll help. Raisa nods, but the words pass like wind. On the stairs, she leans against the wall and breathes slowly. For a long time. Night, kitchen scene, quiet. A small lamp spills a circle of light. In the circle, her hands, one over the other, like a schoolgirl who's ashamed. She looks at tea brown islands on the page. I'm almost giving up, she says. The quiet doesn't hear, but understands. Her phone blinks. IC21 sent a file. Cheat sheet on Peter's reforms. She doesn't open it, just stares at the screen as if into a well. Then, another ping, a voice message. Grandson. Grandma, I believe in you. I'm here. Tomorrow I'll come and we'll revise together. Promise you won't quit. I miss your stories. She listens twice. The third time, she smiles. She turns on the radio. A song from her youth happens to play. I walk through Moscow, bright and young. She taps her slipper and goes to the cupboard. Behind a stack of towels lies her old diary. On the first page, you cannot postpone life. She traces the letters with a finger like a path. Below, she writes, even when tired, even with a wet notebook, even with 2 out of 10. A small boat with wet sails in the margin, but still sailing. She puts a period. That period has weight. Morning. She buys a new notebook, the simplest grid one with a soft cover. Outside, the air smells different. Damp paper and hope. At home, she rewrites the notes, bead by bead. Keep going. I can. She arrives early and sits by the window. Lena and Artyom whisper, today's our day, and hand her neatly printed prompts. Thank you, dears, she says. The teacher walks past and gives her a tiny nod. Paper and nerves in the air. The hall fills like clouds before rain. Let's begin, the teacher says. She draws a ticket, reads, and the ground steadies. The meaning of reforms for society, she reads aloud. She starts to speak, not fast, plain, human. Like she once explained apple varieties to shoppers. She talks about a fleet, about schools, about how people need to know why. No fancy words, and yet it's smart. Montage picks up. Her pen draws a simple chart. Her voice is steady. Students listen, some nod, someone records. In the last minute, she adds, history isn't about dates. It's about people, their fear, their courage, their wish to live not someday. The room is quiet. Then one clap, then many. Next, library. She, Lena, and Artyom sit by the window. Sun lies across the pages like a warm blanket. Raisa explains the difference between why and what for, using examples from the grocery and the yard. A man buys bread. Why? He's hungry. What for? To have dinner with his family and listen to their laughter. The thought warms her like tea. Quick flashes. She teaches Artyom how to set reminders. He teaches her how to make a presentation. They argue about slide themes and choose a simple one. She speaks with slides for the first time. A boat on the first, a date on the second. Why people need this on the third. Her voice trembles for 10 seconds. Then it doesn't. Excellent at the end, and one honest smile. Climax builds elsewhere too. A photo of her talk, eyes straight into camera, spreads through chats. Coolest grandma on campus, someone writes. She blushes, then sends a duck with glasses sticker. She doesn't hide. The jokes don't sting. She likes that the young are beside her, lifting her like an elevator. Finally, exam. Big room. Silence thick as wool. Her grandson sits at the edge. He shouldn't, but he worked it out just to watch. She opens the ticket, reads, and time stops running. Each answer is a step on a bridge. Her legs don't shake. At the end, the professor closes the gradebook, looks up, and says, Excellent, Raisa. She nods, not getting it at first, then smiles like a child who just got their belief in miracles back. The applause isn't loud, but it's real. She leaves the room and stops in the hallway just to breathe. Lena and Artyom hug her. The grandson films and whispers. I knew it, she says. I think I knew too, quietly. It smells like spring, even if the calendar doesn't allow it yet. The climax doesn't shout, it just becomes true. The finale smells like pizza and hot tea. A small party at the department, paper plates, polka dot napkins, someone's homemade pies. Raisa sits between Lena and Artyom, listens to their vacation plans, and feels like she found new nieces and nephews. The teacher raises a cup to everyone who doesn't give up. She raises hers and thinks the toast is about her too. Students come over, ones and twos. Can we hug? Asks a boy with a heavy backpack. You can, she says. A girl with blue nails. You're fire. With you, I feel like I can do it too. Raisa waves it off. You will. Not right away. Small steps. Her voice is calm, the voice of someone who checked the road herself. Galena peeks in like a cat, flowers in hand. You were right, she whispers. I signed up for English, online. Raisa laughs. Then we'll be texting hello and how are you? They both laugh, the sound like clinking teaspoons. Galena adds, Forgive me, I was scared for you. Turns out I was scared for me. It's okay, Raisa says, hugging tight. Her grandson dances between tables, filming stories, hunting angles. Grandma, you're awesome, he repeats like a password. I always was, she smiles. I just remembered. He hugs her so hard she has to hold her cup not to spill. Walk home? Let's. You tell me what's trendy. I'll tell you who Menshikov was. Home is quiet. The kitchen is bright. On the table, a diploma like a piece of sun. Next to it, a notebook titled Summer Plans, Museums, Books, Walks, English. She writes, Invite Zoya to a lecture. Cook 3 recipes from my favorite book. Fix the cabinet door. Little things, but they don't feel empty now. They're the string the day goes on. She looks out the window. Same yard and not the same. Same bench, same neighbors. But now she notices one knits a green sock. The boy learned to bounce a ball without dropping it. Everything moves. She smiles. Voiceover. As long as you live, everything is possible. Age is just numbers next to your name. Soft, round, not commanders. In the evening, their small team goes to the park. On the bridge, they take a photo. She in the middle, Lena and Artyom on the sides, the grandson behind the camera shouting, 3, 2, 1. In the picture, there's joy in her eyes and a quiet pride. Not loud. The kind you take home, close the door, and think, I did well. No fireworks, just a quiet evening, a warm bowl of soup, a purring cat, and a clean notebook. A small habit. Thank the day. She whispers, Thank you for working out. A period, not the end. Just a place to breathe. The moral isn't a banner on the wall. It lives in small things. Call, read, ask, go. If time asks, what do you need? She shrugs. Time. That's her new strength. The epilogue starts with quiet. Evening sits on the windowsill like a cat. Raisa opens her diary, strokes the page edge, and writes, New goal. Pass English exams with my grandson. Start tomorrow at 8 a.m. Don't postpone. She draws the letters slowly, as if laying a path through snow for morning feet to follow. She places her student ID and a pen beside it, so she can't change her mind. She looks out. No stars, but the windows opposite light up like tiny squares of life. In each, its own story. Someone fries potatoes, a kid does homework, someone argues, then makes peace over tea. She smiles. Everyone needs a small dream. She does too. Tomorrow, she'll go to the library and ask about conversation clubs. She'll save new words in her phone. Hello, friend, journey. She'll explain to Lena and Artyom that journey isn't just a trip, it's a path. A path is close if you keep walking. She writes, a path is a step you take even when you're scared. A message pops up. Grandma, you're my hero, the grandson writes. She laughs. Heroes take out the trash. Then adds, I'll try. He sends a rocket sticker. Let's fly, he types. She likes that word. It has movement, courage, and the little scratch of a match when you light a flame. She pulls out the photo box and picks one. Her and her husband at the station. She strokes his note. We'll go to the sea, I promise. She whispers, I'll go. With you. In memory. For now. To myself, to lectures, to books, to people. Her eyes shine, not from tears, from the lamp. The light lays across her cheek, and it looks young. Youth can come back, not to a passport, but to a gaze. Final scene. She sits at the table, blows on her tea, and writes a question in bold across the margin. What would you do if you weren't afraid? 2 lines under it, so it doesn't run away. She leaves an empty space for someone's answer. The camera catches her smoothing the page so nobody feels crowded. Outside, people walk to the bus stop. The streetlight draws a warm circle on the asphalt. She closes the diary, takes her scarf and hat, turns off the light. Before she leaves, she glances at the table. Notebook, student card, pen, and a little caramel in its wrapper. For luck, she says, smiling. The door closes softly. The epilogue keeps the warmth like a hand. Before sleep, she adds another habit. Learn 3 words a day and say them out loud. She tries window, courage, today, and grins. Today is like today, to hear, say yes. She marks the calendar and feels the house steady, like someone tightened a tiny screw, and the door stopped rattling. She sticks a note on the fridge. If you're scared, start small, say it, do it, go. It's enough to make the room brighter. She reads the question to the world and whispers, I'll answer too. Tomorrow, I continue.